Hey everyone, Zach Whittikin with Rustic Lumber Store. So we build lots of custom tables for other clients, but I never get around time doing my own projects. And this week it's my wife's birthday, and what she always wanted was a custom live edge table on our house. So what I'm gonna do is surprise her this week on this cookie right here and take you through the entire process from start to finish, how we build a custom live edge table. All right, so what we have here is a huge monkey pod cookie slab. This is a really nice piece. You can see it has a couple centers, so it's like two main trees that grew together. It's really, really heavy, but this thing is gonna be beautiful. So first thing we're gonna do is take it over to our surfacing machine and make sure it's 100% flat and drum sanded. Let's get it done. Our machine is a custom built surfacing machine, one of a kind, and what our machine will do is actually plane the top of the wood off and make it 100% flat, and then it's going to finish with a drum sander. The capacities on this machine is 74 inches wide by 20 foot long, and we do this service as a custom service for other clients as well. So if you have your own wood slabs or an epoxy table or something like that that you need surfaced, smooth, we can do that for you. Okay, so we got the planing done on this slab, and what the planing does, the purpose of it is to make it 100% flat, so that way there's no dips, bows, or twists. So we got it all planed down, and cookies, they're probably the hardest thing to do to planing on, because when it's the end grain pointing up, it's extra hard. We got it all done, but you can still see some planer marks and grooves. So the next step is this machine also has a drum sander built on it. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna run the drum sander over it and make it a perfect finish that's ready to do all your finish sanding. So we're gonna crank this up, take a couple passes with the drum sander, flip it over, and repeat with the other side. Okay, so this big old monkey pod slab, we got it all drum sanded, and it's just a beautiful, flat, smooth finish. And this is just the right type of finish to do our final sanding on. And it just does a phenomenal job. So the next step is we're gonna flip it over, get the other side done. But this thing's a beast. Someday we're gonna build an overhead like gantry crane to flip it over, but in the meantime, it just takes manpower and strength. So I'm gonna have Tim give me a hand, and we're gonna get this beast flipped over. Randy, she's next door. There's actually her hairstylist. She never treats herself, so she actually got her hair done today for her birthday, and she's actually just now came over, so I better get up to the front door and stop her before she comes in and blow the cover here. You're already done? Okay, well, don't you have like anywhere else to go or something? Well, it looks great. And just busy in here, you know?
Why can't I come in?
Because I'm busy back here.
Doing what? Working?
Maybe.
You building me something?
No.
We're not building a treehouse or anything.
No.
Are you? Are you building me something?
Maybe. A tree house.
Can I look?
No.
Why?
That's what I'm working on, a chicken coop.
What is it? You're not supposed to be doing a chicken coop. You're supposed to be working.
Listen, I needed some, we're getting chickens at the house.
So,
Working on tables?
yeah, for other people. And a chicken coop. Okay, so we got this slab all surfaced, drum sanded. I did do one sanding on it with the Orbital sander. I started with a 40 grit on this these cookies with the end grain pointing up. It's extremely hard to get it sanded nice and easy, so you have to start with a much lower grit, like a 40 grit. So I did that, but now what I'm gonna do is get it onto this table and push it out to the center and actually have Tim help me sand it. There's a few cracks that we have to fix with some Star Bond that we have, but we're gonna get this all manhandled now. Now the most important thing is, earlier you seen after the drum sander, there was lineal scratch marks from the drum sander. And so the most important part when you start with sanding is, the reason I start with, well, if it's flat slabs, I can usually start with like a 60, 80 grit, but these end grains, I have to start with a 40 grit. But it's crucial to get all of the drum sander scratch marks out first, because once you start getting higher grit, it won't remove it anymore. So we always start first by cutting everything down, getting it flat. And I still see ever so slightly some drum sander marks. So we're gonna hit it again. Tim and I, we're gonna hit it together with 60 grit. And then you can see in the epoxy up here close, there's little tiny imperfections. Pockets kind of open up, little cracks. And what we're gonna do is use Star Bond. Yeah, like this epoxy line opened up a little bit. So we're gonna hit the 60 grit first, fill everything in with Star Bond, and then we're gonna go 80 grit, 100 grit, 120, 150, and I'll probably finish at 180 grit. So we got one sander. So, and this is the sanders we use. The Festool Rotex 150, which is a 6-inch disc. We use 6-inch disc on everything. So on the Rotex, the great thing about this sander is it has two modes. A Rotex mode, which is gonna be more aggressive than a fine finish mode. But I pretty much use this just for the first heavy grit cutting. It just cuts a lot faster, more aggressively. And then we just recently got this sander, the ETS EC 150, and this is a finish sander. So once we get up to like 120 grit, we're gonna use this sander. It's just a easier to control, a better quality sanding finish. And then we have this sander here. It's more of a grinder, but what we use this one for is on the edges. So you can see here, some of these edges kind of get a little chewed up while we are surfacing. So that grinder is gonna polish these up nice and neat again to get rid of that chewed up part. And when it comes to building tables and slab tables, sanding is probably literally 80% of the work. I mean, that's what the name of the game is sand, 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 and more sanding. And it's expensive too. Like if you want a high quality job, I mean, you can use cheaper sanders, but these sanders, investment is well worth their money. I mean, this sander alone is around 650 bucks. This sander is like $550. This is about a $280 grinder. I mean, each dust collection setup, like this one with our dust separator and the vacuum alone, that's probably about $1,000 worth. We got a second dust collector over there for our second sander. So sanding, surprisingly, is a very tedious and expensive process. So we're gonna get this started. Like I said, Tim's gonna get a sander, I'm gonna get a sander, and we're gonna like just knock this out together. Okay, so we got this sanded down to 80 grit. I'm gonna get the little cracks and imperfections fixed. Now what I use We actually sell this product, Starbond adhesive. Like everyone in the woodworking world uses this. It's amazing stuff. But this is clear. Both of them are clear. One's called thick, one's medium. And I used different viscosities depending on how big the holes or gaps are. So like the bigger cracks, we'll use this thick. The little hairline cracks, we'll use medium. And they also make it in black and brown, which we sell as well. But in this situation, we're just gonna stick with clear. So Tim has the big gaps over there. I got little hairline cracks here. So we're going to touch up the little holes, and then we're gonna go ahead and continue on sanding with 100 grit. So also the great thing about the Starbond adhesive glue is they make this accelerator spray, so I can squirt this in the cracks, give a little spray, and like in 30 seconds, it's ready to sand. So it's fantastic. Like in this situation where you're trying to finish up and you need to hurry and get it done. Okay, so we got the top sanded, got the bottom side sanded. So we have a table base here from Flowy Line Design. Really love this product. We've been using their legs for a while. What we're gonna use here is these threaded inserts. So we thread these in, and then we can put a machine screw into that. So we'll get it all laid out, and then we're gonna oil the bottom, flip it over, and then get oil put on the top side. So. Okay, so we got this giant monkey pod slab all sanded down. We sanded up to a 360 grit. What we do is we work through steps. So actually after drum sanding, we do our 40 grit first, 60, 80, 100, then 120, I think 150, 180, 220, and then 360. So it's a bunch of steps. And the reason you want to work your way up in the grits is to remove all the swirls. If you try to just go from like 120 to 220 or 360, it's not gonna work its way up, so you're still gonna have bigger scratches in it. Excuse me, I'm kind of losing my voice from last night, don't know why. But we're using this product, Black Forest Finishes. That they make kind of like a oil system. So we'll do 2 coats of oil, and then they have a ceramic coat, but you have to let it cure for at least a week before you can do the ceramic coat. But today, because we're just in a hurry, we're gonna get 1 coat on it, and I'll deal with putting the second coats on later on, because it's going to my own house, so I can just do it at my house later on. But we're gonna go ahead and put it on here. And I just use this cheap old Ryobi polisher, works great. And the goal is you want to put as minimal amount as needed to make the coverage, because you have to buff it back off. So if you put too much on there, it just makes extra work for you. So let's get started. All right, got the coat done. We polished it all in, buffed it out, got all the live edge done. So this is just 1 coat here. We're gonna let it dry for 24 hours, and then we'll apply a second coat. wait about a week, maybe a little more, and then we're gonna apply the ceramic coating that they have. But since I'm in a hurry today to get it over, we're just gonna go ahead and load it up with the one coat that's done on it. I'll deal with it later on down the road, doing the second coat, maybe in a couple days. It's at my own house, so I'll just put a blanket over it to keep my sticky kids' fingers, hands off of it. So Tim's gonna help me. We're gonna get it loaded up in our Transit, haul it over, and I gotta get Brandy out of the house so she can't see it and get a surprise going on here. What you think?
It's huge! Oh my god.
Big enough for you guys?
Yeah,
Beautiful!
just the right size for the spot.
I think so.
Oh my gosh, it's perfect.
Really, that's the type of table you can see a lot of going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can put 2 on this side, 1 on the end, so 6 people.
I love it! You love it?
Yeah. I might switch the base out later on, but I like it.